What you see here is a mixture of stoneware and porcelain clay pieces. Some are made on the wheel and some are made hand built. The hand building technique is basically slab. All the techniques I do are based on Oriental traditional techniques, China, Japan, Korea. So I work at high temperatures. I really started working in clay when I went to Teachers Training College in 1968-71. That's really when it started. I enjoyed working with clay. The only problem was you were doing 1 day a week. I spent all my time when I wasn't doing the other aspects of the course, doing pottery or painting. And after I qualified there, I went and taught in Birmingham for 3 years. When I left Teachers Training College, I knew then I wanted to go to art school and I wanted to spend 5 days a week doing art. I enjoy teaching, passing your ideas on. At the same time, I came about the workshop here in 1981, having finished art school in Aberdeen. Everybody said, well, what are you going to do when you finish? And I said, I can tell you one thing I'll do. I'll still make pots. And that I've kept true to. I exhibit all over Britain, and I've got my own space now. It has its advantages and disadvantages, but the public can come in and see what I'm doing, and people come in and order stuff, and it's quite nice having an order because it gives you a challenge and a focus to produce something unique for that particular customer. I work with a gas kiln. In other words, I use a flame, 1200, 1300 degrees centigrade. The flame is altered during the firing and that produces particular effects. The work goes through the kiln twice. The first stage is just called a bisque firing, where it's only fired up to 1000 degrees and then comes out and then it gets glazed or dipped in the glaze and then it goes back into the firing. The landscape pieces are based on the idea of trees. I've developed this idea. The triangular piece that you saw me is based on the original ideas, but I'm using much more complicated forms. The landscape pieces use a very dry matte glaze, which is very sculptural, and it brings out the textures and the forms. I make the textures by, as you see, rolling out bits of clay, pressing them into things, making them into shapes, and that's usually done the day before, and then those are assembled in the mould. The mould I use is the triangular one and other shapes, and those are assembled the next day, and then with sheets of clay and cardboard templates I construct and develop the tree form on top. Although they're similar in appearance, each one is more or less individual because no two pieces are exactly the same. The porcelain pieces you see are blue and white, and again that is based more on the classical Chinese or Japanese techniques. And those are my own interpretation of the blue and white way, but that goes far back as the 18th and 19th century in Britain, and is a classic idea that's been done in Stoke for many generations with Coalport and Wedgwood and other firms. And that just developed out of me seeing an exhibition in Edinburgh in 1995 of a Japanese potter called Kondo Takahiro. That was a really nice influence, and that's how it came about. There's some functional work as well. You see some ordinary teapots, thrown mugs and other pieces. And I like the discipline of the throwing because that gives me the strength and the experience to do the more complicated thrown teapots and other pieces I do.